Remember when a $50,000 a year salary was the goal? It felt like the benchmark for a good, solid, middle-class life. A sign that you'd officially made it. You could buy a house, raise a family, maybe even take a vacation once a year. That was the American dream, and for millions, it felt real and within reach. But here in 2026, that dream feels like a distant, fuzzy memory. For a huge number of Americans, that same $50,000 salary isn't a launching pad anymore. It's barely a survival threshold, and even that is becoming a stretch. If you feel like you're working harder than ever but are constantly getting wiped out, you are not alone, and you're not crazy. The system is telling you one thing, but the reality on the ground in your bank account at the grocery store is telling a completely different story. The official narrative versus reality here. The story we read being sold. The government reports that inflation is cooling down. Forecasters like the Congressional Budget Office expect the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, to land around 2.7 to 2.8% this year. And the USDA says overall food prices are predicted to rise by a manageable 3%. It all sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? But does that feel right to you? Does a 3% bump reflect that jolt you feel when the cashier tells you your grocery total? Does it match the gut punch of your rent check clearing every single month? Probably not, because it's not the full story. The truth is, there's a hidden inflation tearing through the finances of everyday Americans. It's most obvious in the two places that matter most: the roof over your head and the food on your table. While the official numbers are massaged to keep things looking stable, real-world costs are spiraling. This isn't just about cutting back on a few luxuries. This is about the absolute core expenses of life becoming fundamentally unaffordable. Section 1. The agitation. The housing trap. Let's start with the biggest expense for nearly every American household: housing. The dream of owning a home is slipping away for an entire generation. While there isn't a single 77% statistic that's been recently verified, the story it tells is true. Housing affordability is a massive challenge, with a structural deficit of homes keeping prices punishingly high. Why? The numbers are just staggering. Forecasters see national home price growth stalling, or rising only slightly in 2026. But that offers little relief when prices are already in the stratosphere. In states like California, the median home price is forecast to hit over $900,000 this year. You might think renting is the answer, but the rental market offers no escape. In fact, it might be worse. As new construction slows, the intense demand is expected to keep pushing rents higher. In cities like New York, one-bedroom apartments can average over $4,000 a month, and even in more affordable areas, the pressure is building relentlessly. This has created what's known as the lock-in effect. A huge number of current homeowners, with some estimates saying over 81% have a rate below 6%. Can T afford to sell and move? A new mortgage, even for a similar house, would be drastically more expensive. This chokes the supply of available homes, driving prices even higher for everyone else. It's a closed system, and if you're on the outside looking in, the walls are getting higher every single day. The government's official inflation numbers, the CPI, don't accurately capture this crisis. The index gives more weight to homeowners and uses a metric called owner's equivalent rent, which is just an estimate of what homeowners think their home would rent for, not what people are actually paying. It's a statistical sleight of hand that papers over the brutal reality renters are facing. Section 2. The agitation. The grocery store shock. If the housing market is a slow-motion disaster, the grocery store is a weekly punch to the gut. The USDA might be forecasting a food at-home price increase of only 1.7% for 2026, but that number hides the painful truth about what's actually in your cart. That 1.7% figure is an average. But we don't buy average. We buy beef, coffee, sugar, and produce. And the prices for these staples are exploding. In 2026, beef and veal prices are projected to surge by a shocking 9.4%. That's not a small adjustment. That's the kind of hike that forces families to change how they eat. It's a hidden tax on your dinner table. This is also where shrinkflation comes in, a sneaky form of hidden inflation the CPI does untrack well. You pick up a box of cereal, and it costs the same as last year, But look closer. There are fewer ounces inside. That pack of paper towels has fewer sheets. You're paying the same, but you're getting less. Your money is being devalued right before your eyes, and official metrics barely even notice. These costs add up with terrifying speed. In 2024, the average American household was already spending over $6,500 a month, or nearly $79,000 a year just to cover its expenses. Housing and transportation alone ate up half of that budget. The idea that you can live comfortably on a $50,000 salary is no longer just outdated. It's a dangerous fantasy. Some recent analyses suggest the true living wage needed for a family of 4 to live comfortably in the U.S. is around $121,000. However, in states like Massachusetts, that number skyrockets to over $200,000 a year. Now imagine trying to make it on $50,000. It's a mathematical impossibility in many parts of the country. If this is hitting home for you, if you're feeling that squeeze every single month, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We rededicated to cutting through the official noise and talking about the real economic issues that are affecting your life. Your support helps us keep doing that. Section 3, the why. Who is to blame? So, how on earth did we get here? It's not just one thing, but a perfect storm of policies and market forces that have created this crisis. First, the housing supply has been artificially strangled for decades. There's a complex web of local zoning and land use regulations across the country. Many of these laws make it incredibly difficult or even illegal to build smaller, more affordable starter homes. They mandate huge lot sizes and restrict multifamily housing, all of which drives up the cost of every single new home that gets built. Second, government policies have often made the problem worse. Tariffs on imported building materials can increase construction costs. On the other side, some proposals aim to help buyers by letting them raid their 401k retirement accounts for a down payment, but that's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It doesn't fix the supply shortage. It just throws more money at an already inflated market, pushing prices even higher while putting people's futures at risk. And finally, our reliance on the Consumer Price Index as the main measure of inflation gives policymakers a flawed picture of the economy. The CPI was designed to measure broad price changes, not the true cost of living. Because it can be modified and adjusted, it often smooths over the rising prices of essential items, giving a false sense of security. When the official data says everything is fine, there's no urgency to fix the underlying problems that are crushing millions of families. Section 4, the solution. How to survive. There is no magic bullet to fix this overnight. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. The solution starts with understanding the game and refusing to be gaslit by a system that tells you this is somehow your fault. First, we have to talk about financial literacy. For way too long, this has been a topic reserved for the wealthy. But understanding budgeting, debt, and investing is a core survival skill for everyone now. It's about more than just saving a few bucks. It's about making your money work for you in a system that is actively trying to devalue it. This means looking at a classic 50-30-20 budget where 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings, and recognizing that for most people, that needs category has swelled to consume almost everything else. Second, it's about getting tactical. This means ruthlessly auditing your expenses. It means mastering the art of grocery savings, planning meals, buying in bulk, and knowing which items are skyrocketing in price so you can find alternatives. It means looking for opportunities to increase your income, whether that's through a side hustle, negotiating a raise, or learning new skills. But individual action can only go so far. The real solution has to be collective. This means supporting policies that actually address the root causes of the problem. We need to advocate for zoning reforms that allow for more diverse and affordable housing to be built. We need to demand transparency in how inflation is calculated and reported, so we can have an honest conversation about what it truly costs to live. There is bipartisan momentum for some of these ideas. From yes in my backyard YIMBY movements to expanding manufactured housing, but it needs public pressure to become a reality. The feeling that you're being wiped out isn't just in your head, the numbers prove it. A $50,000 salary, once a symbol of American stability, is no longer enough to provide a basic standard of living in many parts of the country. You are not failing the system is failing you. By understanding the hidden inflation in housing and groceries, you can begin to reclaim your financial agency. You can start making informed decisions and demanding real solutions. You are part of a massive community of people who are going through the exact same struggle. You are not alone in this fight, and that's where I want to hear from you. What part of the cost of living is hitting you the hardest right now? Is it the rent, the price of gas, that weekly grocery bill? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Share your story, because the first step to fixing a problem is admitting just how real it is.